Here we go. She is big ears. All right, ready? As usual, you're not gonna prep me. We're just gonna shoot this. This is my
Back in bold. Salute.
salute. Cheers.
A candid conversation with Chris the freelancer. Do you know what's crazy? That Patagonia, it's from Argentina. In Argentina, it's like $4 or $5. Here, it's $1.50. We're on the border of Paraguay, Argentina, and Brazil. What's the city called?
Hold on a second. Ciudad del Este, I think.
Basically, it's where all the Brazilians go to get cheap electronics, and they cross the border, and also where you go to the falls. How do you say the falls?
Iguazu Falls. That one's pretty easy.
But the beer's not bad. I'm really liking this Sanginia. It's like an orange one. Patagonia's not bad, but I was drinking Argentina, now I'm over it. But here's what we're going to do. It's a candid conversation. So each question I ask, we're going to finish one beer. So we have 12. No, maybe not that. I don't think you can handle that one. But no, Chris, man, just talk about life a little bit, You're looking good. You got the linen pants on, you got the summer attire on. Like, I like what you're doing,
Thank you. I had to put on a better outfit for now that I knew we were shooting because you take random photos of me at awkward moments which don't look the best. So I got to be prepared when you're around with the camera.
But why Paraguay? Why are you even here right now? I mean, you're chilling in Brazil for a while. I know because I'm here, for one. But what other reason would you come to this country that not many people... Now it's getting popular. But normally it wasn't popular.
Very simple reason, and I think that's why it's popular for other people as well, is the tax residency thing. I think it's the best one going at the moment in terms of there's no presence requirement. You don't even have to report your foreign earned income. So it's basically, the easiest thing you can do. And you just have to have a couple of documents apostilled, which I have now, and they're on their way to Paraguay. So fingers crossed they'll be here in time and I'll get the whole process done. I got a guy lined up. And then, I'll be a tax resident of Paraguay.
Yeah, good for you. And now your home base has been Bali.
Yeah.
Look at your video, post-pandemic part 2. I make a special guest appearance in it, but...
Your favorite video of mine?
Did you find your home? That was the answer. Like, now you're getting up in age, man. You aren't the young gun in Chiang Mai back in the day. Like,
rub it in.
The digital nomad life, are you still embracing it, or you're going way more slower? What's kind of like going on with you?
I guess I'm more, as I get into my old age now, more focused on productivity, business, building for the future, just being more stable in general. So as you saw in that journey of that 2-part series, check it out if anyone's interested. I made a 2-part series about it, but after the pandemic, I kind of went on a travel binge, realized, okay, whatever I'm searching for in this nomad life or just going from country to country, I don't even know what I'm looking for. And then I was thinking to myself, well, maybe I'm looking for somewhere new to actually call home, And so I traveled to Brazil. That was a goal of mine to hang out there until the end of the year. I got there in August 2023, and it was a goal of mine to hang out there until the end of the year to give it its chance, because when I went on that travel binge, it was 16 countries in 9 months. And I just wanted to focus on one place, learn the language, see if I could live there full time. Because I think there's like a benefit of places that you don't experience until you invest in the place for long enough. Especially when it comes to relationships. You don't usually just come off the plane and make great friendships from day one. You got to spend some time, meet a bunch of people. Things take time to grow, right? So I came to Brazil, visited you in João Pessoa. Then I was in Fortaleza, when I realized, and this is strange to say because it was in the northeast of Brazil, that I wanted to move to Bali, because I realized it was the complete... I realized in Fortaleza, I was like, I could never live here. And I was like, why couldn't I live here? Well, it doesn't have these things, bang, bang, bang. And I was like, what place has all of those things? Bali. And then I was just like, okay, it's going to be Bali. But I didn't really trust myself until I got back to Bali, because maybe I get itchy feet again, or maybe I'd be like, no, this is not it. Let me look again, because I have a little bit of shiny object syndrome, analysis paralysis. But I got to Bali and I was like, yep, this feels right. and then that's when I got into the process of offshoring, because the system in Australia is you can't just be a nomad. There's no tax benefit to being outside the country. You have to show that you're living somewhere else. And I was like, okay, if I'm committing to Bali, then I can commit to this as a foreign home for tax reasons as well. And then I went down this whole path of offshoring, which has been a bit of a journey. But yeah, I'm on this quite a long trip over here in South America. But yeah, Bali's still home. That hasn't changed. And yeah, I'll probably do shorter trips than 4 to 5 months moving forward. It's just because Brazil is so far away from Bali, I just made the trip longer. And I tied in a month in Cape Town as well.
Take a sip. There we go. Good breakdown. So that's a big topic here. You've been doing this nomadic life for quite some time, you know, a lot longer than many people who get into the game and then get out of the game. Where is the balance? What do you think the answer is? Is it, you know, we base up in one place, still, you know, have some travels, you know, month here, month there? How do we survive after kind of living this totally unique life that is not really relatable to people in today's age, but in the past as well? Like we're living in uncharted territories. Now it's become more popular than ever than when you first started, but have you came to any of these kind of answers after all these years of traveling, or are we just mentally screwed up in the head and we're meant to always be wandering?
No, I think it's not really a simple answer, but I just don't think that one size fits all. So I can only really talk about myself and the other people that I've met in this world, and also people change, life changes. The main thing I've seen people stop being digital nomads and go home is when they start a family, and I'm getting to that age now where I want to start a family, and that's the biggest question mark for me, because it kind of makes sense to have a family where I grew up. Not just because I grew up there, but it's actually a good setup. Like, I got my mum who's like keen for a grandchild. She's like got plenty of free time that she could look after the kid. You know, it's comfortable there, good schools, safe, you know, like it's a good place. Australia, and especially where my family lives, is a good place for raising children. So I've always got that in the back of my head, that if I meet someone and they want to move to Australia, maybe I do that. I think one theme that for everyone, pretty much everyone, is that they slow down. So somebody doing a new country every month typically stops that eventually. So there's this, I don't know if you've ever heard the term slow mad, which I think is kind of similar to how you live. So it's like minimum 3 months in each destination and then moving around. There's like the 2 bases or the multiple bases, you know, and it's the same destinations each time, but you just go, you know, like I think Andrew Henderson, Nomad Capitalist, does that. He's got the house in Bogota, he's got, I think, Kuala Lumpur, and then he just moves between the bases, you know. So there's that model. But yeah, there's really no one size fits all. The only thing I can say for sure is that if you're just starting this nomad life, the novelty is going to wear off at some point. We talked about this actually at the Nomad World Conference in Rio, and Gonzalo Hall, who organized the conference, we did this panel discussion, and he invited us 3, like me and 2 other established nomads on stage, and we talked about our views on nomadism. And then he told me later, he's like, I think I messed up by having 2 or 3 experienced people, because maybe it would be good to throw a newbie in there as well, because the newbies have more of a passion for it, they're more excited for it, you know. You got Zach here having reverse price shock, which I was like, I envy you, bro, because I'm long gone from the days that I had reverse price shock.
Your brain is in the Thailand mode, cheap like that. USA prices are like stupid too, no? You kind of said that.
Well, it's also because they're also stupid compared to Australia, especially with the exchange rate at the moment. The AUD is at the lowest it's ever been against the USD.
But your life has kind of been, for most of the time, really low cost of living. Like, that's what you got adapted to, basically.
Yeah. I think it's just natural. Even if you were a multi-millionaire and then you
once
live
you pay,
cheap.
you know, $1 for a cappuccino, it's hard to like, oh, I'm paying $6-7, you know, in this location. Like, it's just in your head where, like, in a different place.
Yeah.
it costs this, you know, so why is it so much more, you know, here?
And that's the thing, like, I end up spending a similar... Somebody asked me, I posted my cost of living for April last year in Bali, and somebody asked me, is this a normal cost of living that you would spend in Australia? And I'm like, actually, I'd spend about the same in Australia.
That's what's been me the last couple of years, whether it's be in Munich, the richest city in Germany, or freaking, you know, Buenos Aires got expensive now, but in Medellin, wherever else, Egypt. I mean, not Egypt. Egypt was dirt cheap. I mean, I couldn't spend. I mean, it was insane there. But Kenya, I'm always spending in the same range now, no matter where I'm at.
Yeah, so I think you have your comfortable level of spending, and when something's cheap, you end up buying more of it, right? So I do that. I'm like, you know what? I had lunch the other day in Brazil and in Rio, and we were at this restaurant, and they had the executive meals, you know, and they were so cheap. I was like, fuck it, I'll buy two. But in Australia, where the meals are 3 times more expensive, I'd probably be like, maybe I don't have two. Do you know what I mean? So you end up just, if something's cheap, you probably just buy more of it. But that's not everyone, but I find that with myself for sure, that you have this sort of range of spending that you're used to. And so if I go back to Australia, my life just shrinks, you know? My lifestyle just shrinks rather than I spend a lot more, if that makes sense.
Okay, throughout the years of doing this, you know, at the beginning, think back to those nomads that were on the same journey as you. What percentage turned out normal? You know, they got out of the lifestyle, they're doing fine, and what percentage just freaking they're nutcases now?
The funny thing is, every now and then I'm like, oh, that guy, yeah, he used to have a YouTube channel. I used to hang out with him. We collaborated. Oh, this guy. Most of them just disappear from the internet. So I don't even know what they're up to, you know? There was a lot of... I remember there was this dude... I don't know if this is a little bit of a tangent, but this is what comes to mind. There was a dude I met in Chiang Mai back in the day, 2016 or 17. And he just I quit my job to start a podcast. And everyone was praising him like, wow, look at this guy, he's made the leap. And then another guy in the YouTube's digital nomad space made an interview with him, and they were talking as if he was this big success. And I'm just like, how's he going to make money from a podcast? He's probably going to be one of these guys that is here for a few months, makes a splash, and then goes back to his life. And that's exactly what happened. He ran out of money, and he went back to normal life in the States or Canada or wherever he's from. And so, yeah, I don't know, the guys that are doing the best are often the ones that are just quiet about it, you know, and they're just you see them at the co-working space, they don't have a social media, but they're making $1 million, you know, at 22 or something, you know.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and I had a point and I totally forgot. Normally I have a little notebook here, but let me think what I was going to say. Oh, and this is what's been really interesting ever since the pandemic and remote work became super popular. I think you were talking about the Rio conference, the digital nomad used to be like a rebel. Oh my God, you're doing this. This is super cool. We're, you know, doing something no one else is doing. And now this lifestyle has become so mainstream. Luckily now, a lot of people are getting sent back to work, you know, in the USA and different places. So, you know, not everyone and their mother is in Mexico or Lisboa and whatnot. But tell me about that evolution between, you know, it used to be oh, I'm unique. This is something cool. Now everyone, you know, that has a, 9 to 5 was doing remote work, you know, around the world, and it wasn't as cool anymore.
Yeah, that's a good word, actually, rebel. I was trying to articulate it.
Because me, I've been saying you, digital dork. Because I'm rebelling against, I don't classify me in this area. But it's crazy. When I first started out, I was like, oh no, I want to be digital nomad. You know, in 2019, you know, I'm playing American football, but I'm like, okay, but it'd be really cool making this money, you know, even more on the outside on the laptop and being part of this group. And it seemed like after the pandemic, it's no, now you're putting me in with everyone else that is, you know, working a 9 to 5.
Is that, can I throw the question back at you and ask you is that when you started to consider digital nomads, digital dorks, is the pandemic?
I think, yeah, around 2021, 2022 is where the thing switched. Kind of when all the gringo go home things started happening, when, you know, you saw all these people in these cafes working on their laptops. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not a digital dork. I know, I'm actually living a cool, rebellious life, you know? So
okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, so I guess 2016 digital nomads was, 2016 was when I started, might not be digital dorks to you, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you're right.
Trailblazer.
But you're right. Around that age, pre-pandemic, it was rebellious and something crazy. I remember, I think I've told this story a few times. My dad thought I was literally out of my mind for saying, I'm like, Dad, I'm going to be a web developer and I'm going to work remotely from northern Thailand. He said, number one, how are you going to be a web developer without a formal education? Oh, you need to go do a course. And I'm like, no, I don't. It's all on the internet. Anyway, so I studied that, got a job as a web developer within 3 months, and he's just like, oh. And then I did the other thing. I worked remotely from Chiang Mai, Thailand, and he was just like, oh. And then that's kind of a lot of, I liked making the videos back then because I could show people it was possible too. So like, I made a video, oh, here's me working remotely. Look at these internet speeds. Look at these cafes where I can work. And then put that on YouTube. My family would watch it. Obviously, other people around the world watched it. And my dad doesn't really, he's just like, obviously I've proven him that wrong that many times. He's just like, oh, it's like now part of his reality that it's possible. But before that, he was just like, this is impossible. And, he got a bit, my dad's a bit like that, angry, like. But other people would have maybe just been like, oh, I've never even thought of that. Is that even possible? And then now been like, oh, wow, it's possible, So I think, I don't know, I'm probably going off on a tangent from your original question, but yeah, I get most of the conversations I have these days are people saying, I used to watch your videos back like 5, 6, 8 years ago, and that was the beginning of my digital nomad life. It inspired me to be nomad. And then I think to myself, oh, if I kept making consistent YouTube videos, would people be saying, oh, I watched your video a year ago? But I'm not even sure because so many people are aware of digital nomad life from other sources now. Back when I started, it was a niche internet thing. So you had to have someone like me or my inspiration, Peter Levels, being talked about on like a startup magazine to even know that this thing even existed. We've been in this world for so long, it's hard to tell what's inside a normal person's awareness. But I think I would guess right now, at least half of the people who are knowledge workers know that this is a thing, especially with TikTok and Instagram. And how are people not seeing anything on like, oh, working remotely from Mexico or Bali or something? Surely the cat's completely out of the bag now,
Yeah, I think I came across one of your videos when I started doing the overseas football thing and then learning more about making the money online. And it was like people were like shocked, like, oh my God, wait, I could earn this, Western salary and then spend it in a developing country. And now it's blase. You meet them all over the place. It's normal. So I think maybe that's how you've been separating yourself. Like now your videos you've done, they're not consistent anymore, but when you do it, it's like a full-on production. It's storytelling, it's deep emotions, and maybe that's kind of where it's transitioned to what your content is. Not just, oh, you did it in Cape Town, and oh, here's the internet speed, and all that. But I think your content is evolving to kind of separate from it, maybe a little bit.
Oh, when it comes to, it's hard to articulate when it comes to my YouTube channel and when I make videos because it's just mainly a creative expression.
When did the burnout happen?
Oh, it wasn't burnout. It was like I put a lot into the videos, and I've had this actually when I think about it now, I've had this the entire time. I remember I was making a video, I think I know the exact video. I was making this little documentary on my favorite co-working space ever, Dojo Bali in Canggu. And I was making the video, I put all this effort in, I interviewed the founder, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, my channel wasn't even anywhere close to what it was just starting out. I'm like, why am I putting all this effort in? I'm a newbie digital nomad. I should be focused on how do I make money while traveling. Instead, I was just so passionate about this channel. And so that's the trap for me, is like, if I pour myself into a creative project, it's taking away from time I could be spending making money. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm trying to find the balance now where I can express myself creatively consistently without putting too much time into it, and then like setting myself back business wise, because Yeah, like even I remember when I did the Peeper video, which was a bit out of the blue. Like I hadn't posted it in a while, and I was like, I'm gonna do this video on Peeper, and I was a bit rusty, and I was like, man, like my whole life I wake up and I'm like, okay, I got to think of how this is going to come across in the video and like how to structure this whole month. And it's a lot of mental energy, a lot of creative energy, the way I do videos, to put into it. So I've got to find the balance between like business, creative expression, time spent working on it, and then hopefully grow the personal brand as well. Because if it's just going out to the same people and not really growing, that's a bit of a bad thing as well.
I think, yeah, you brought up one point here, the creative thing. So, like last night, if we were drinking some wine, I'm like, oh, let's throw on the video, part 2 of Brazil. Like, I made the people we were with watch it because I'm starring in it, right? But it was just beautiful. And, like, while we're watching it, I think it brings back memories. You know, we're smiling. Zach said, oh, we saw both of us, you know, smiling, watching the video. And I think the bigger idea I'm getting to is for every person, that creative outlet. Like the creating things, doing different things, it's very fulfilling. No, when you're in the space, like what would you say to someone that has never, you know, put a YouTube video out there, never made a painting, never, you know, it's work. They go to the bar, they do the normal life. They never find that creative expression. Like, talk to me about that.
Oof, that's a tough one as well, because for me, there was zero motivation that I had to force myself to have when I first created the videos. Like you could not stop me from making the videos because I was so excited to
prove
make them.
To your family that you could live this life.
No, it was like I was excited by the fact that there was no like YouTube videos on this subject, and I could be the first, and I could fill that gap. No,
was it the trailblazer feeling or what?
Maybe a trailblazer feeling, I don't know. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. I'm planning this trip to Peru at the moment, and I'm going to do all the normal stuff in Peru, go to Machu Picchu.
Oh, you are now? You just said you weren't. You better.
Oh, you've
You need to go to Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
It's a bitch to get to, but freaking you have to do it. When you see it, you're like, wow, this is unbelievable.
But yeah, I'm going to do all the normal touristy stuff there, and I'm just not going to make a video on it because how many other people have made a video on the touristy stuff in Peru, you know? And that's why I never wanted to be a travel vlogger. I wanted to be a digital nomad vlogger, because nobody's like going to places. Where do you actually work? What's the community like? Are there co-working spaces, internet, groceries, all this digital nomad stuff? And I think it's safe to say I was the first to do that. And then you could say the biggest as well, because back when there was no competition, as well. So yeah, I guess maybe the trailblazer thing was motivation. But yeah, to go back to your point about like motivating people to create,
or just the feeling of like that one Brazil video doesn't have that many views compared to a lot of your other videos, but it's art, right? And you can always look back at it.
Yeah.
You know, the people that were involved in it are smiling, happy about it, and just that creative expression. I don't know, like me, I love doing this. Barely monetize anything besides like consultation stuff, but just having these conversations, you know, making those Instagram reels, like a diary, it fulfills me. You know, it makes me, you know, feel like I'm doing something. And I think a lot of people don't ever find that creative spark. You know, outside, like work is not a creative spark unless you're doing like you have your own business, you know, but that's very important to feel fulfilled, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I mean, that's like the best thing you can do is feel fulfilled, I think. I think if I was as passionate about my channel in 2016 as passionate now as I was back in 2016 about the channel, I'd just be making the videos and making it work and just doing whatever I could on the side. But the passion kind of waned as well for me, I think, because maybe I'm not a trailblazer anymore. It's already been done, you know? Or I don't want to, like, there's only so many destinations in the world that are special for digital nomads, you know? Like, the stuff that gets me excited is, like, stuff that I covered recently on the channel about Bali. Like, you've got 15 paddle clubs in this one area in Indonesia, and you've got the most incredible gyms that look like resorts with, like, supermodel women walking around and ripped dudes. And then you've got these amazing co-working spaces with a pool and 24/7 security and valet, and you know what I mean, like stuff like that's super cool, but that doesn't exist everywhere. So I'm gonna run out of inspiring destinations eventually, and that's kind of what happened in 2017. I went to every destination. I was telling the girl, she's going on Nomad cruise. I think I was talking to somebody about Nomad. Oh no, it was another girl who's gone on Nomad cruise as well. And she's like, "Are you gonna go back?" And I was like, I told her the story. Like, when I started my channel, I was so deep into digital nomad, digital dork culture that it was my dream just to be sponsored to go on Nomad cruise. That's as far as I dreamt. And then the Johannes, the founder, was like, "Yeah, come on Nomad cruise for free. Just make a video and do a speech." And that was it. Like, that's ticked off all the goals of the channel already. And that's back in 2017. Been to all the digital nomad destinations I want to go to, apart from Cape Town, which I did a few months ago. So yeah, if I was full of ideas, like if I had so many ideas, and I know other creators have this problem of they have so many ideas and not enough time, I would love to have that problem, because like that means you're inspired all the time and you just need to find the time. Me, it's like it's the inspiration is sort of depleted in that area, and yeah, it's about timing too. I just so happened to be growing up in this digital nomad era, and it came out, and it was something that's interested me a lot, and not many people were doing, and it's just a perfect storm of sort of things, you know. I think timing has a lot to play in it as well. So yeah, it's hard to put these concepts into concrete terms, because yeah, it is a creative thing. It is about just what inspires me, and that's why it's been a struggle, or like I haven't really turned the channel into a business, is because it's mainly about creative expression. Whereas maybe I'd have to create a lot of videos that I'm not inspired to do or don't want to do to turn it into a business, or change directions into something I don't really want to do to make it a business. And if that's the case, I'd rather just start a new business and keep the creative outlet.
Beautiful therapy session, Chris. I'm glad you enjoyed. 30 minutes. It's getting dark, so you probably can't see us right now, but we'll throw up some great B-roll when it got too dark. I'm gonna take your videos. I'm gonna B-roll it if they can't see us.
Okay.
But it's beautiful seeing you again. Middle of freaking nowhere, Paraguay. Having a good time. Bro, to hit the city today, the city center, and see what other things we get up to these next 2 weeks in Asunción. So
yeah, man. Yeah, it's good to see you, and thanks for inviting me on this trip.
Everyone else, live bold. Ciao.
Ciao. Is it like pitch black?
Yeah, now it is.